What could come next in the MonsterVerse after the epic clash between Godzilla and Kong? There are talks about a Son of Kong film directed by Adam Wingard, the director of Godzilla vs. Kong. While nothing has been confirmed yet, fans are speculating about the future of Kong in the MonsterVerse. In the original Son of Kong from 1933, Kong's albino offspring had his own adventures on Skull Island. If this story is adapted for the MonsterVerse, we could see Kong's son exploring the hidden hollow Earth world. One reason why Godzilla's son might be easier to introduce is because Godzilla is often portrayed as reproducing asexually, meaning he doesn't need a mate to have offspring. On the other hand, Kong, being a mammal, would need to find a female of his species to have a son. However, Kong is believed to be the last of his kind, which presents a challenge. So, while the idea of a Son of Kong movie is exciting, a MonsterVerse interpretation of Godzilla's son might actually make more sense and be easier to incorporate into the existing storyline. For a Son of Kong movie to work, the story would need to change significantly to reveal that Kong found others like him after the events of the original film. While it's not impossible for there to be other Kongs, this would undo the ending of Godzilla vs. Kong and what it set up for Kong's future. This creates a narrative challenge that wouldn't exist if the MonsterVerse were to explore Godzilla's son, who could be introduced at any time without these obstacles. In the Showa series, Manila, the first version of Godzilla's son, is portrayed as asexual, as there is no female present. This was later confirmed when he fathered baby Godzilla in the 1990 series. Given this history, it's plausible that the MonsterVerse Godzilla shares this trait. While the MonsterVerse may not necessarily take this direction with Godzilla, it does offer a simple way to continue his legacy in future movies, unlike a Son of Kong story, which would be more complex. Could the next MonsterVerse movie be a Son of Kong story instead of a Godzilla vs. Kong rematch? Rumors suggest that while a sequel to the epic crossover is in the works, details are still under wraps. Shooting is expected to begin in Australia this year. While Godzilla emerged victorious, their partnership against Mechagodzilla and their peaceful parting at the end of the film leave their future relationship uncertain. Could Kong challenge Godzilla for the title of King of the Monsters, leading to an epic rematch? Only time will tell. The Son of Kong story would be more of a spin-off than a true sequel, as it would center around Kong's son rather than the two Titan alphas. The Titan War began with multiple Kongs joining forces against a single Godzilla. This suggests that the key to defeating Godzilla lies in unity. In Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong fought alone, which may have contributed to his loss. A modern-day Titan War in the MonsterVerse could become a reality if Kong were to find his family. This scenario hinted at in ancient Titan Wars has been a compelling idea for the future of the MonsterVerse, yet it hasn't been explored on screen. In Godzilla vs. Kong, this concept couldn't be fully realized, but with Kong united with his kind, it could be a real possibility. The groundwork for such a conflict has already been laid. In Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla gained several Titan minions by defeating Ghidorah. These Titans could serve as allies in a potential Titan War. If Kong were to unite with his family, both Titans would have their armies, setting the stage for an epic clash in Godzilla vs. Kong 2. For Godzilla vs. Kong 2, a Titan war unfolding in the present would be a logical next step, especially if a rematch between the two is on the horizon. Since the first film already focused on their battles for dominance, a simple rematch might feel repetitive. To keep the story fresh, introducing additional Titans could turn their rivalry into a full-scale war, including other monsters in Godzilla's ranks, such as Toho Kaiju, could add complexity and excitement to the battles. This approach would not only differentiate the sequel from its predecessor, but also provide fans with a thrilling and unique monster-filled spectacle. In Godzilla vs. Kong 2, incorporating Kong's son into the storyline could be challenging, considering his age and ability to make an impact in a Titan War scenario. Even if the movie takes place years later, Kong's son would likely not be old enough to be a significant player in the conflict. It might take 100 years or more before he could pose a real threat to Godzilla's Titan minions. However, Kong's son could still play a crucial role in the film as a character who represents innocence and the true heart of the story. While Kong was portrayed as a victim forced into battle in Godzilla vs. Kong, his son could be depicted as a young and innocent ape caught up in the conflict without understanding why. This portrayal would make him a sympathetic figure and could add depth to the sequel's narrative, offering a different perspective from the first film. For the potential Son of Kong adaptation in the MonsterVerse, there are several options for villains that could be considered. While Legendary Pictures has not confirmed anything yet, rumors suggest that the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong could be titled Son of Kong. If this rumor is true, it would mean that both Godzilla and Kong would take a backseat to a much younger and smaller monster in the fifth MonsterVerse movie. While this would be a departure from the original Son of Kong film, it would likely follow a similar concept. The 1933 movie explored the adventures of King Kong's 12-foot-tall albino offspring. Since MonsterVerse Kong does not have a son yet, it is expected that, like the original version of the character, the Son of Kong would be a fraction of his father's size. A story focused on a young and inexperienced Kong promises a fresh adventure, unlike anything the MonsterVerse has done before. However, it may face limitations in terms of suitable villains, as Kong's son wouldn't match his father's power level. Monsters like Destoroyah, Jigen, and Biollante, while fan favorites, are better suited as opponents for Godzilla or Kong due to their immense strength. Despite these challenges, there are several kaiju that could be reimagined to be fitting adversaries for Kong's son. For example, a new version of Mechagodzilla could be created specifically to challenge Kong's son, providing a technological threat that contrasts with Kong's natural abilities. Kamakuras, giant mantises from Toho Films, could be reimagined as agile and dangerous opponents for Kong's son to face. Similarly, Kumonga, a giant spider from Toho Films, could be redesigned as a cunning and deadly adversary for Kong's son. Additionally, Megalon, a beetle-like kaiju, could be reimagined as a powerful and destructive foe that tests Kong's son's abilities to their limits. Ibira, the huge lobster monster from Ibira, Horror of the Deep, could be a good opponent for Kong's son in the Monster vs. Son of Kong story. While Ibira was a tough enemy for Godzilla in the older movies, he's not as powerful as other famous Godzilla foes like Ghidorah or Mechagodzilla. This makes him a better fit for a Kong-related story. In Godzilla vs. Kong, we saw that the Hollow Earth has oceans, so it's possible that a giant lobster like Ibira could live there. In the MonsterVerse, the filmmakers have the freedom to create their monsters instead of relying solely on Toho's kaiju. An intriguing option for Son of Kong could be a reimagining of the giant cave bear from the original Son of Kong film. This would offer a fresh and unique antagonist for Kong's son to face. What are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Until next time.